In the wild, there is only one rule: eat or be eaten. A bobcat is a solitary hunter, a ghost in the snow. Mercy is not in her nature. So when Luna found him, freezing and abandoned in a cardboard tomb, she should have seen a meal. But instead, she did the unthinkable. I've been a ranger for 20 years. I've never seen a predator do this. This is the true story of a friendship that melted the coldest winter and the sacrifice that changed everything. It had been 3 days since Luna had last eaten. The winter had come early this year, brutal and unrelenting. Her golden eyes scanned the white horizon, looking for the slightest movement of a hare or a squirrel. But the forest was silent. Luna moved with the grace of a phantom, her large paws acting like snowshoes on the deep drifts. She was heading towards the edge of the forest, near the old logging road that humans sometimes used. Usually, she avoided the scent of man, but hunger makes one bold. As she neared the road, a strange scent hit her nose. It wasn't prey. It was something artificial, cardboard, and underneath that, the scent of fear. There, half buried in a snowbank, was a box. The flaps were torn open by the wind. Luna approached cautiously, her ears twitching. She expected a trap. She expected danger. But when she peered inside, she didn't find a threat. She found a tragedy. Curled into a tight ball, shivering so violently it shook the box, was a puppy. He was no more than 8 weeks, with fur the color of honey, now matted with ice. He had been abandoned, left to the mercy of the storm. Luna stared at the small creature. Her instinct screamed at her, "This is not your concern. Walk away, save your energy." Or darker still, "This is food." The puppy lifted his head. His eyes were clouded with cold and exhaustion. He didn't see a predator. He saw a living, breathing warmth. He let out a tiny, pathetic whimper, a sound so fragile it was almost swallowed by the wind. Luna froze. That sound, it triggered a memory deep within her, a memory of her own litters, of kittens she had raised and protected. The predator within her hesitated. The mother within her awoke. She hissed softly, confused by her own reaction. She stepped into the box. The puppy didn't run. Instead, he instinctively pressed his freezing body against her thick, warm fur. Luna stiffened. She could snap his neck in a second, but she didn't. She lowered her head and let out a low, rumbling purr. She began to lick the ice from his ears. In that moment, the pact was sealed. She would not eat him. She would not leave him.
The decision was made, but the challenge had just begun. The box offered no protection against the coming night. They needed shelter. Luna nudged the puppy, urging him to move. He stumbled out of the box, his paws sinking deep into the powder. He was clumsy, unsuited for this terrain. His name, if he had one, was lost to the humans who left him. But to Luna, he was now Little One. The journey to Luna's den was only a mile away, but for the puppy, it was a marathon. Every few steps he would collapse, whining softly. Luna, a creature of patience and stealth, found herself stopping every few yards. She would look back, her tufted ears rotating. If he stopped for too long, she would circle back and nudge his rear with her nose, or gently grab the scruff of his neck to pull him from a drift. It was a strange sight, one that defied every law of nature. A fierce bobcat, a solitary hunter, guiding a domesticated dog through the wilderness. By nightfall, The temperature dropped to dangerous lows. They hadn't reached her main den. They had to settle for a small hollow beneath the roots of a fallen pine tree. The puppy was shivering uncontrollably now, his energy spent. He curled up on the frozen earth, his breathing shallow. Luna knew he wouldn't survive the night alone. She lay down around him, curling her body into a protective crescent. She pulled him close, burying him in the thick fur of her belly. The puppy sighed, the warmth finally reaching his bones, and drifted into sleep. Luna did not sleep. She kept her eyes open, watching the darkness, guarding the strange, helpless creature that had suddenly become her world. A few miles away, smoke curled from the chimney of a small cabin. This was the home of Jack, a park ranger who preferred the company of trees to people. He knew every animal in these woods, or so he thought. The next morning, Jack was out checking his trail cameras. The storm had passed, leaving the forest pristine and silent. As he crunched through the snow, he stopped dead in his tracks. He saw prints. Bobcat, he muttered, recognizing the distinct round shape. A big female. But then he saw the other tracks. Beside the confident, rhythmic prints of the cat were drag marks, clumsy steps, and small paw prints that definitely did not belong to a wild animal. A dog, Jack frowned. Out here? His heart sank. A loose dog in Bobcat territory usually meant only one thing, a hunt. He assumed the cat was stalking a lost pet. Fearing the worst, he hurried to his nearest trail camera strapped to a birch tree overlooking a game trail. He pulled the SD card and loaded it into his portable viewer. What he saw made him drop his thermos. The grainy black and white footage showed the bobcat, Luna. She was walking slowly, and right behind her, tripping over a branch, was a golden puppy. In the video, the puppy fell. Luna didn't pounce. She turned around. She waited. The video cut to the next clip. The bobcat was carrying the puppy by the scruff, dragging him up a steep hill. "I don't believe it," Jack whispered to the empty forest. "She's not hunting him. She's helping him." Jack knew he had to intervene. A puppy couldn't survive on a bobcat's diet, and the cold was returning. But he also knew that interfering with a bobcat could be dangerous. He decided to track them. He had to see this miracle with his own eyes, and he had to be ready to save them both if nature turned cruel again. Back in the den, the reality of the situation was setting in. Luna was a skilled provider. She had hunted successfully, bringing back a rabbit to the hollow beneath the roots. In her world, this was life. This was survival. She tore off a piece of meat and dropped it gently in front of the puppy. She nudged him, making a low, encouraging sound. "Eat," she seemed to say. "You must eat." But the little golden puppy was too young. His teeth were not made for raw flesh, and his body was failing. He was dehydrated, and the cold had seeped too deep into his lungs. He didn't even lift his head to look at the food. He simply lay there, his breathing raspy and shallow. Luna paced around him in tight circles. She licked his face frantically, trying to stimulate him, trying to wake him up. But for the first time, her warmth wasn't enough. The predator in her understood death. She had seen it 1,000 times, but the guardian in her refused to accept it. She let out a cry, not a growl, not a roar, but a high-pitched, mournful wail that echoed through the empty trees. Miles away, Jack heard it. He was tracking them, pushing through the knee-deep snow, but the weather was turning again. The wind was erasing their tracks faster than he could follow. He knew he was running out of time. "Hold on," Jack whispered, his breath clouding in the air. Just hold on. But in the den, the light was fading from the puppy's eyes. Luna stopped pacing. She lay down beside him, resting her heavy head on his small flank. She realized that her protection was not enough. To save him, she would have to do the one thing instinct told her never to do. She would have to go to the enemy. She would have to find the human. Night had fallen, and with it a silence so heavy it felt like the world was holding its breath. Inside his cabin, Jack was pacing. He had lost the trail in the storm. He felt helpless. He sat down by the fire, staring at the flames, wondering if the little one was already gone. Then he heard it. A scratch. It wasn't the wind. It was a deliberate, desperate scratch at his heavy wooden door. Jack grabbed his flashlight. He didn't know what to expect. A bear? A raccoon? He unlocked the latch and swung the door open. The beam of his flashlight cut through the swirling snow, and there, frozen in the light, stood Luna. She was magnificent and terrifying. Her ears were flattened against her head, her breath coming in heavy clouds. But she didn't run. She stood her ground, trembling not from cold, but from fear of the human. Jack lowered the light. That's when he saw it. At her paws, wrapped in the snow, was the puppy. Luna looked at Jack, her golden eyes locked with his. There was no aggression in them, only a silent, desperate plea. She nudged the puppy toward the open door, toward the warmth of the fire. "I understand," Jack whispered, tears welling in his eyes. "I've got him." Slowly, Jack knelt down. Luna flinched, but didn't retreat. He reached out and gently scooped up the limp body of the puppy. He was ice cold, but his heart was still beating. Jack looked up to thank her, but the space where Luna stood was empty. Only a set of paw prints leading back into the dark forest. She had done her job. She had delivered him to safety. Jack named him Lucky. It took weeks of care, warm milk, and sleepless nights, but the little golden dog survived. He grew strong, happy, and loyal. He became Jack's shadow, the king of the cabin. But Lucky never forgot. Every winter, when the snow falls heavy on the pines, Lucky sits by the edge of the woods, staring into the trees. And sometimes, just sometimes, if you look closely, you can see a pair of golden eyes looking back. Luna still watches over him, the ghost of the forest, the guardian who broke the laws of nature to save a friend. They say animals don't have souls, but anyone who knows the story of Luna and Lucky knows the truth. Love is not just a human emotion, it is the wildest force of all. If this story touched your heart, please hit the like button and share it with someone who needs a miracle today. And tell us in the comments, do you believe wild animals are capable of love? Don't forget to subscribe to Heart Paw Stories for more incredible tales. Until next time.